Next thing we're going to do is learn how to create a chord progression. And all that means is that we're going to play chords that come from the key of C major, and we're just going to progress from one chord to the next. So if we go back to our chords in C major, you might remember that we identified them by Roman numerals and also with a chord name or chord notation. And it looks like this. So this is our raw material. This is what we have to work with. We've got chords built on every scale degree in the key of C, no flats or sharps. And now we're just going to choose some of those chords, and we're going to play from one of those chords to the next, to the next, to the next. So the progression that I'm going to play for you is a very popular one in pop music. In fact, there's some really funny videos that you can watch about this chord progression that I can link below. But the progression goes like this. 1, 5, 6, 4. 1, 5, 6, 4. So how would we do that on the piano? Well, we know that we're in the key of C. So C is the tonic. That's the beginning, the 1. So if I put my thumb on a C and I just form the claw shape, play every other note, then I'm playing a C major chord. It's really, really easy. The next chord in the progression is the 5. So if I look where my pinky is, it's already playing on the 5. So I just go here and move my thumb to the 5. And now we're playing the 5 chord. The next chord is a 6. No problem. Just move to the right by 1. There's the 6. And then the last chord in the progression is 4. So we've got to come back down to 4. Like that. So here it is again. 1, 5, 6, 4. Now, to keep it really simple, I'm always going up to the scale degree. When I go from 1 to 5, I'm going this way. But you could also go to that same G for the 5 chord by going down to G. So I could start here, which is C, and I could go backwards in the musical alphabet, B, A, G. So C, that's the 5 chord, the G, the 6 chord, A, and the 4 chord, which is F major. We call this position with the thumb on the bottom making the claw, we call it root position. And I can kind of highlight what that means by looking at the chart here again. Not using the B. And I'll get rid of the last C too, because we're not really using that. So we're playing C to G, and then we're going A to F, right? So each chord has a bottom note, which we call the root, the 3rd and the 5th. The F chord has a root, which is an F, and the G has a root, and the A has a root. So when you stack the notes like a snowman and play the root on the bottom, we call that a root position chord. And you can see my hand kind of jumping around on the keyboard, always playing with the thumb on the bottom note. For now, that's cool. That's all I want you to do. Just practice playing different chord progressions from the key of C, and it honestly doesn't matter what you choose. You could just pick any chord in the key and just progress. And put your thumb on that bottom note, and it will always kind of work. All right, so let's add a little bit more to this idea of playing a progression. We know what the chords are. We know how to play them in root position. Now we have to decide when we're going to play the chords. So I'm going to change my staff board here. And instead of writing out all the notes, I'm just going to go with chord symbol notation. So here we are, there's our clef, And let's switch to brown. Well, that's better. All right. So instead of writing 1, 5, 6, 4, I'm going to write these as chord symbol notation. And in the key of C, the 1 chord is a C chord. The 5 chord is a G chord. 6 is A minor. And then 4 is F major. So without getting into time signatures and rhythmic notation and all of that stuff, I just want you to think about keeping time and a basic 4 feel. So if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And for every 4 count, we're going to call that a measure of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play each chord for 1 measure. So I'm going to play C, G, A minor, and then F. And I can even write little hash marks on here, and those will give us a marking that sort of demonstrates the fact that 4 beats are going by. So C, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, A. All right, so the same amount of time for each chord. And we call the timing or the rhythm of a chord progression, we call that harmonic rhythm. And you could just do it 1 chord per measure, but there might be a case where you want to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to use the same progression, but I'm going to change up the harmonic rhythm just so you can see how that changes the feel of the song, if you will. So I'm going to take the G off here, and I'm going to move it to here, and then I'm going to scrunch up the last 2 chords, A minor and F, into the last measure. If you notice now, we're going to play C for 2 measures. I don't have to write another C. This just says keep going, right? I'm just going to play the same thing. So I'll have C for 2 measures of time, G just like before, 1 measure of time. And then when the last measure, it's going to be A minor for 2 beats and F major for 2 beats. So I want you to hear how different this feels. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So harmonic rhythm can make the same chord progression sound really different. And that's just another element of writing a chord progression that you can use to your advantage to make something that is, uniquely yours.